So we're out here today to compare two of the most popular concealed carry firearms on the market. This would be my personal SIG P365 and the Springfield Hellcat Pro. And while I know it would be a more appropriate comparison to compare the Hellcat Pro with the 365 XL or the 365 with the regular Hellcat, this is what I've got, so this is what we're doing. We'll start with the P365. I love this one. And now the Hellcat Pro. Not bad either. Welcome back to Sawtooth Tactical. As I said in the intro, today we're comparing the Springfield Hellcat Pro and the Sig Sauer P365. And while these are both two of the most popular carry guns on the market today, they are not the exact same size. So the Hellcat Pro is the same size basically as the P365 XL, or the P365 is basically the same size as the standard Hellcat. But these are the two that I have available, and they represent the entire line of both Springfield Hellcat and Sig Sauer P365 very well. So I think that they are a great comparison. I own this P365. It's my personal carry gun. And the Springfield Hellcat Pro was loaned to me by my friend Kalen. Thank you very much, Kalen. I really appreciate it. I also appreciate every one of you that has subscribed to the channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Let's start the show. So while I am partial to my P365, being as it's the gun I carry every day, the Hellcat Pro is definitely growing on me quite a bit. This is the SIG. And I shoot it well. So the biggest advantage that the Hellcat Pro has over the P365 is a 15 round capacity. And I gotta admit that the bigger grip does feel a little better in the hand. So there are a few subcompact guns that basically rule the concealed carry market. Those are the Sig Sauer P365, the Springfield Hellcat, the Smith & Wesson Shield Plus, and Glock 43X, 48, 26. Glock has a lot of guns. Those are kind of the most popular, most trusted subcompact concealed carry guns that are on the market today. And the Sig Sauer P365 was basically the first one that started this Micro 9 double compact where you get a high capacity in a very small gun, a double stack the size of what previously were single stack guns. And then every other company followed suit. You had the, Smith & Wesson had their Shield, which was a very popular carry gun, but it was a single stack, and they came out with the Shield Plus. Basically the same size as the original Shield, but double stack, so you get a lot more capacity. Springfield came out with the Hellcat, which the original Hellcat is about the exact same size as the P365 in every dimension, length, height, thickness, everything. So, and then these companies started expanding those lines. So SIG now, with the P365, they have the P365X, which is basically this, but with a flat face trigger and an optics cut. They have the XL, which is a P365, but it's this size. And now they even have the X Macro. And Springfield expanded into the Hellcat Pro fairly recently. And I can see what is pro about it compared to the regular Hellcat. I've had this gun for about a week now, and I've been doing some testing and evaluation, taking it to the range, put a bunch of rounds through it. Last Tuesday, we had a video out reviewing this gun, and it's a really, really good carry gun, and it's very light. And although it's bigger than the P365, the original P365, I have found that in the right holster, that it is just as easy to carry comfortably, just as easily to conceal without printing. So there is that. But there are a lot of similarities between these two guns, and there are a few differences. And so I want to go over those in case you're in the market for a concealed carry gun, you don't know what to get. When I started my whole concealed carry path, I started with a Taurus G2C, and I carried that gun for a long time, and it was fairly reliable. I did have a few malfunctions with it, which I haven't had a single malfunction with my SIG P365, but it was also a little bit bigger. It was more in the compact category than subcompact. It was heavier and definitely wider than the SIG P365, and not as comfortable to carry. And with the extended magazine on the P365, I have the exact same capacity. Now, the SIG P365 is a 3.1 inch barrel, and it has a standard capacity of 10 round flush fit magazines, or you have the same 10 round magazine but with a pinky extension, which is how I carry it so that I can get a full grip on the gun. Or you have 12 round magazines with more of an extension, more of a full grip on it, which is very comfortable. The Hellcat Pro, so the original Hellcat has 11 or 13 round extended magazines. The Hellcat Pro, you actually get 15 rounds in a gun that is very light and still very small, thin, easy to carry. This is a similar size to a Glock 19 in the grip size with the 15 round double stack capacity. You have a 3.7 inch barrel instead of like a 4 inch with a Glock 19, but the 3.7 is bigger than the 3 inch barrel of the standard Hellcat. So that's just where they are about size. If you look at thickness, which we will look a little bit closer in just a minute, they're about the exact same thickness, about an inch at their widest point. And so the thickness is something that really matters when you're carrying inside the waistband. And both of these guns carry very comfortably. Let's go up close and take a look at them and just kind of show you guys the features that you get with each. So here we have my SIG P365. And the standard P365 is very basic. You don't get an optics cut, but you do get very nice sights. These are the Sig Sauer X-ray day-night sights. So they are tritium night sights, but they also have a very easy to pick up front sight there. 3-dot night sight setup. They are metal sights that you could change out if you want, but I'm definitely not going to. These sights are great. Now you can get upgraded models, like I said, the X, where you get an optic cut and a flat face trigger. But the other great thing about the SIG P365 and P320 series is that they're very modular. You can take out the fire control unit and you can change out grip frames, slides, trigger groups, whatever you want to about these, which is a very cool thing. I could put on an XL frame and have a gun similar in size to this Hellcat Pro. I could change it out to a flat face trigger if I want. I can get the X slide and have an optics cut. A lot of different things like that. But for a concealed carry gun, I don't feel like I really need all that. It's got a standard capacity of 10 rounds in the flush fit magazines. This is the magazine that I carry in it with Federal HST hollow points. It's got a pinky extension just so you can get a full grip on that gun. Now, obviously, it's still a very small grip. And that's the thing about this gun is that it's a very small gun. It's a subcompact. But I got to admit, it shoots like a bigger gun. I can shoot this gun very well. But it's also because I have a lot of practice on it at this point. Because you have to practice with your concealed carry gun Make sure that you are good with it so that if you ever do have to use it, God forbid, that you will be effective with it. So you can also get 12 round extended magazines. And in fact, you can get much bigger magazines than that, 15, even 17 round magazines like that come with the X Macro. They will all work in this. The controls are very easy to actuate. Here's your takedown lever here. This is your slide stop slide release. So extremely easy to actuate. I did have to get used to it. When I first got this gun, I noticed that I would ride that slide release with my thumb and it wouldn't lock back on the last round. A little bit of training and I overcame that. Not a big deal. It has a light rail in front, but it is proprietary. It's not a standard Picatinny rail, and so only certain lights will work on it, like the TLR7 sub from Streamlight or this Warriorland SL1 light, which is what I have mounted on it now. It does have front and rear slide serrations, which is important to me so that you can press check, make sure that you're chambered, or just to be able to operate the slide from the front, which again, if you have an optic, I feel like that's an important thing. It does have this curved trigger, which generally I am a person that likes flat triggers, but this is a very comfortable trigger and it's a very, very good trigger. So it's got a little bit of take up. It's not as smooth as like an Apex trigger, but it's not gritty by any means. And then a brake that is fairly crisp. Really positive reset, which is right back to the wall. There's that brake again. For a out of the factory standard striker fired trigger, this is a very, very good trigger. Now, the magazine release, again, is also very easy to actuate. Although, because the grip is so small, I do have to change my grip to get those magazines to fall free. If I don't, the magazine won't fall free. But if I change my grip up, they fall free just fine. Now let's take a look at the Hellcat Pro here. The original Hellcat has very similar features to what the SIG P365 has, but the Hellcat Pro comes with some bonus stuff. So this has a standard capacity of 15 plus 1. These are very nice stainless steel magazines. They fall free extremely easily without having to change your grip, because this has more of a full-size grip. It has a very similar texture to the SIG P365, also similar to like Smith & Wesson M&P. I think Springfield calls this their adaptive grip texture, and it's good. It's not quite as aggressive as the SIG or as the M&P, but I didn't find any problems with it. It definitely holds the gun into your hand well. Now, both of these guns have good high beaver tails so that you can get a nice high grip on them to control recoil. The SIG with the undercut here is a little bit more than the undercut on the Hellcat, but I did not find that being a problem with the Hellcat. You can get a nice high grip on this firearm without an issue. It also has very decent sights, although very different. While the SIG has 3-dot night sights, the Hellcat just has a night sight on the front, but that front dot is extremely easy to pick up. Brings your eye right to it, and with the U-notch Hackathorn style blacked out rear, it's a very, very easy sight picture to get. These sights are a little bit higher than the ones on the P365, and I believe that is because it's cut for an optic. And so with certain micro red dots, you'll be able to co-witness these sights very easily. So that's a great feature that if you mount an optic to this gun, you won't have to switch out your sights to something different, because these sights are very good, very usable sights. I like them a lot. Now, one thing that I really do like about this Hellcat Pro is that it does come optics ready, and this is cut for like a 507, 407K series from HoloSun or an RMR CC. Those type of micro red dots will mount directly onto this without any kind of modification or plates. So that is very nice. It also has the front and rear slide serrations, just like the P365 does. And it's kind of cool, actually. The slide serrations go all the way up over the top, with that mounting plate, or not mounting plate, but the cover plate for your optics cut there, which is very nice. The trigger on this one is more of the style of like a Glock trigger. It has your trigger safety, which the SIG P365 does not. But it's not a safety, it actually comes flush into the trigger, so it doesn't really bother me at all. It's got a very smooth take-up, and then you hit a very, very defined wall. And it's a very heavy pull through that wall, but it's all at once. Trigger reminds me of my Ruger Security 9 Pro actually quite a bit, but with a much better reset. It's got a very positive reset on this one as well, which is right back to the wall. It's a pretty decent trigger, although fairly heavy, but I like it. The slide release, again, very easy to actuate. And I didn't find a problem with this one with my thumb actually riding that, but maybe that's just because I've already trained myself because of this one. Now, the Hellcat Pro has an actual real Picatinny rail, so you have many more options for lights, lasers, those kinds of things. It also has texture up here for a thumb rest that you can use as a gas pedal to control the recoil on this, or also as an indexing point for your trigger finger, because as you know, you don't want to put your finger on the trigger until you are ready to take a shot. 3.7-inch barrel, 15-round capacity. This is closer to a compact gun than a subcompact, which definitely does make for a more comfortable grip and in some ways an easier shooting firearm. Although I did find this one to be fairly snappy on the recoil. In fact, it almost seemed more snappy than my smaller SIG P365. So while that Hellcat Pro has a 15-round capacity and a bigger grip, do have extended magazines for the P365 to give it a 12-round capacity and a bigger grip, which is very helpful. Now, when it comes to carrying these guns, they both carry very comfortably. I've always been kind of a proponent of carrying small guns inside the waistband concealed, because part of concealed carry to me is making sure that you have something that is comfortable, because if it's uncomfortable, you're not going to carry it as often. So I want something small and light that's comfortable to carry. That way, you're more likely to carry it all day, every day, right? So that was a big reason that I chose the SIG P365 as my concealed carry gun. And with this inside the waistband holster from Warriorland, it's a very comfortable gun to carry. Short barrel, short grip, and very narrow makes a very comfortable gun to carry. But what I found is that this Hellcat Pro, I can carry just as easily in the right holster. This is a holster from We the People, and because of the adjustable cant on it, you can cant it forward to where your grip doesn't stick out in print, is just as narrow as the P365. And honestly, the barrel on this is just as long as what happens with this, because the holster on mine is made to also accommodate a 365 XL. So really, I feel like I could carry the P365 XL probably just as easily as this Springfield Hellcat Pro. Both of them are very easy to carry. You do get a lot more rounds with the Hellcat Pro, being as that it's more of the compact versus subcompact size, although it does have the subcompact width. Now, when it comes to shooting them, how do they shoot? Well, they both shoot very well. It did take me about a magazine worth of rounds to get used to the Hellcat Pro. I wasn't super accurate with it right off the bat, but after 5 or 10 rounds, I had no problem shooting it very well. It was just something I had to get used to. The sights, the trigger, the feel of the gun. It does have a bit of a stout recoil for a 9mm, but that's to be expected with something this small and lightweight. So not a big deal there. Very manageable. I'm sure all of you guys can manage 9mm just fine. The thing about the P365 that I love is that even though it's such a small gun, it shoots like a bigger gun. And I know that's kind of a cliche thing to say, but I'm not the only person that said that. I've seen that over and over and over again in different things that I've read or watched about this P365. It really does shoot like a gun, bigger than what its size really is. And that's just a testament to Sig Sauer and the way they designed this gun. I've never felt like the recoil on this P365 was that bad, especially for the size of gun. Now, it's not going to be as soft shooting as like a full-size 1911 in 9mm, but you can't expect that. But for its size, this gun shoots really well. And out on the range today with both of these guns, one right after the other, I gotta admit, I shot my P365 better than the Springfield Hellcat Pro, but I also believe that a lot of that has to do with the fact that I am just more used to this gun and I have a lot more time on it, a lot more rounds downrange. I've just shot the P365 a lot more than I have the Hellcat Pro. So I can't really ding the Hellcat for that because once I got used to it, I shot it just fine. And I don't remember exactly what it was like the first time I shot my P365, but I'm sure it probably had a little bit of getting used to as well. So both of them shoot very well for being small, light firearms. I think either one of them is going to be a great option for a concealed carry gun. With something like the Hellcat Pro or the 365 XL, you are going to get a higher capacity. You're also going to get a longer sight radius, which will help in the accuracy department. I do think that the SIG has a better trigger, but I'm sure, just like Glocks or anything else, there are aftermarket triggers, things like that. But at the same time, there is nothing wrong with this trigger at all. In fact, it's a very clean trigger with a pretty crisp brake. It's just that the brake is kind of heavy. So once you get used to that, not an issue. It's got a great reset. I love that both of them have the front slide serrations, and I really do love that you get an optics cut with this Hellcat Pro. Got a couple rounds left in the Hellcat. Let's see how they feel. Not bad. So who is the winner, the Springfield or the Sig Sauer? Well, when it comes to specifically these two pistols in my hand, I'm going to have to give it to the Springfield Hellcat Pro, but that's because it's the Pro model. Having the more full-size grip, the longer barrel, higher capacity, optics cut. Because of those extra features, I feel like it beats out the standard P365 just in features alone. But I actually shot the P365 better. It is a little bit smaller and lighter, obviously, although if I had the 365 XL, I think maybe the SIG would beat the Hellcat, but maybe that's just because that's more of what I am used to, having carried this and shot it quite a bit more. For it being that much smaller than the Hellcat Pro, it shot very well. I didn't feel like the recoil on the P365 was anything extreme by any means, and for a gun this size, that's saying something. The other thing about the P365 is just how modular it is. The fact that I can take out the fire control unit, change out to a bigger grip frame if I want, different slide, barrel, I can get one with the optics cuts, all that. I can make this P365 into a pistol with all the same features as the Hellcat Pro. But that's not what I have here today, and that's why I'm going to give it to the Hellcat Pro out of the two of these. Now, am I going to get rid of my P365 and start carrying a Springfield? No. I absolutely love my SIG P365, and it's perfect for what it is. It shoots like a bigger gun than it really is. It carries very comfortably. It's light, it's thin, it's small. I can have a higher capacity if I really want to. It conceals well, and it's everything that I want in a concealed carry pistol. I do believe that it's got some upgrades coming soon. It's just a matter of finances, but I'm going to get the Wilson Combat P365 or maybe P365 XL grip frame for it. I also feel like soon I will get the flat trigger from Sig Sauer. It's kind of a drop-in, easy modification to make. So I am going to upgrade this gun a bit because I have a problem. I love upgrading my guns. If you can tell from, this used to be a regular plain Jane Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0. It's got a different trigger now, an optics cut, Cerakote light, everything else. That's just part of the hobby to me. I really enjoy building out guns, building my own, upgrading them, changing, adding parts, accessories, experimenting until I get it to be exactly what I want it to be. But in the meantime, it's pretty dang good for a carry pistol. I can't complain one bit. So let me know what you guys think. Are you a fan of the Springfield Hellcat series or the SIG P365 series? Like I said, I think between these two, I would go with the Hellcat Pro. But between the series, Hellcat versus 365, I would go with the SIG. That's just my opinion though, with my sample size of one of each, and the fact that I have a lot more experience on the P365. So I want to know what you guys think. What do you carry? Do you carry one of these two pistols? Do you carry a Smith & Wesson Shield Plus or a Glock or any number of other carry guns? And tell me if you agree with my opinion or not. I read every comment and I reply to every comment. And if you enjoyed this video, please like, please share this video, and please subscribe to the channel. All those things help the algorithm, help me grow the channel, and get these kind of videos out to more people, which is greatly appreciated. From Sawtooth Tactical, stay strapped or get clapped.